And there we have it. We're live. This is John Baxter Live. I've got an exciting show for you tonight. We're going to talk about Nikola Tesla. We're going to talk about the Whiting Cliff Tower and that technology. And we're also going to talk about a secret interview, 116 years old. So we'll be covering that today, a little bit of education following one of my favorite inventors of all time, Nikola Tesla. And so I want to share his message and get more information out. So we have an exciting show today. We're going to cover a couple topics. And, as far as the sponsor, Anti-Aging Bed, thank you. Even though I'm president of Anti-Aging Bed, this technology is just out there revolutionizing the world. So it works off the electrical body. So it's really important on today's show to cover some of Nikola Tesla. Now, the body is an alchemical process. It also is electrical, right? Our nervous system is the core root of all of our movement, all of our organ function,
So we'll
and
be
cellular
covering
function.
that today. A little bit of
So,
education following one of my
here we
favorite
have it. It looks
inventors
like
of all
we're
time, Nikola Tesla. And so I
kind
want
of
to
breaking
share
down
his message
some of this stuff.
and get more information out. So we have an
So basically, on today's show, it looks like there's a little bit of a lag time. Are you guys, if you guys can comment, do we have a little bit of a lag time here? Because I'm seeing a lag time happening. So here we go. Now we're there. Great, great, great. And we've had a lot of good shows. So if you're interested, someone interested in health technology, addressing issues that have been overlooked. I spoke to a very important person today in regards to this. And it's important to know, since this is an uncensored network, talking about things like Lyme's disease and candida is paramount. And what you'll find if you do have an illness that you can't address or no one's really been able to address, and you're sick of masking or putting a band aid on symptoms, which the current system very much does, keeps you right above dead, right? What we've got is something that takes your health to the next level. Your own body itself is a self healing mechanism. So, by changing the environment, that's how Nikola Tesla was actually helping people. So, think about it, energy, frequency, and vibration. Albert Einstein, the future of medicine is electrical or frequency medicine. So, yeah, just an exciting call today covering these types of topics. I'd like to give another shout out to PPN. PPN is the last stronghold of First Amendment broadcast in the world. So this network, share it, post it, get the message out. Thank you guys so much for joining my show today. And the important thing is we all want to wake people up. We all want to know what future's ahead of us. And Donald Trump said it himself. He's going to back out. People like me and you need to stand up, right? And how do we do that? Over many calls and over many interviews, I've asked people this very question: what's it going to take? And I've broken it down into a couple different points, right? One is focus. As humanity, as people, we're going to talk about Nikola Tesla today and free energy. It can't just be one guy. It's got to be a group of people with the same like-minded focus, right? Focus is key in any type of movement. And this movement coincides with lost information, uncensored, censored health technology, the truth. The truth. Why are they censoring? Because there's a little bit of truth at least in it. So PPN, thank you. PPN family, love you guys, and thank you for joining the show tonight. And without any more, let's get into it. Let's get into Nikola Tesla. Some of these shows I post and we're not really able to see a lot of the video, right? The For whatever reason, the amount of show lives that we have out there is tremendous. So there is a little bit of lag time on this broadcast. So recognize if I'm posting the video, you might just have to tune up your volume, and you'll be able to hear some of this important interview. So I'd like to start it with Whiting Cliff Tower. So if you're not familiar with Nikola Tesla, he created a tower in Colorado. It was a place of a high uh, altitude, also high grounding and electrical uh, strikes, discharges from our lightning bolts, right? And he was able to figure out after studying the Great Pyramids of what this is. So, any of you guys at home realize the pyramid was very much a cell tower. We see these cell towers everywhere and we wonder what they are. I honestly believe like there might be satellites out there in regards to drone technology that are way up in the air. Honestly, I don't believe in satellites. I believe in cell towers. And I really do believe when they show a graphic of all the satellites on Earth spinning at 50,000 miles an hour and never hitting each other, always floating and orbiting perfectly, locked in space. So realize I don't believe that. I don't believe that because it doesn't make any sense. Space is 2 inches off the ground. Whatever altitude you have determines very little after you get up, right? You can get up and yeah, you can look down, great, but realize there's a lot of cell towers out there. There's a communication network going on, our Wi-Fi, our cell phones. Some of this is military grade technology, right? They've known this. We've been sheltered in the sense that this hidden information we don't even most everyone doesn't understand the cell tower and what it does. So GPS coordinates as well. Uh, whether you call it global positioning system, whatever, it really is tracked by a 5G, 4G network, right? Because the grid system is locked when cell towers are in place. So going back to Nikola Tesla, they never talk about it, but realize that was the first cell tower ever created, right? Free energy was right there for humanity. And a lot of the stuff that can be negative can also easily be flipped to a positive. Spoke about this many times, right? There is a duality in energy. There's a duality in frequency. There's a duality in light. There's different spectrums. Some is healing, some not so much. Some is dangerous, right? Some can kill you, but also there's always going to be a band of healing tech for this body that we have here. So Whiting Cliff Tower, and I will share my screen right now and present. Like I said, I'm hoping that the video plays so you can see it at home, but it might just be an audio. I'm going to share my screen now, and we're going to go watch the little bit of the Whiting Cliff Tower, a little bit of history behind Nikola Tesla. So without much more, I'm going to show this screen.
Over 100 years ago, Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest inventors and electrical engineers of all time, immigrated to America as a young man and patented over 1,400 inventions. Tesla's many innovations started the Industrial Revolution in the late 19th century and laid the groundwork for his intention to harness and freely transmit the Earth's natural source of energy. With financial support from J.P. Morgan, Tesla designed and erected a unique electric magnifying tower known as Wardenclyffe on Long Island, New York. Tesla intended Wardenclyffe Tower to be the crown jewel of his life work that would have improved the world's quality of life through his discovery of producing free, wireless electricity by harnessing and transmitting scalar waves surrounding the Earth.
There's a tremendous amount of of radiation that comes in from the sun. And that causes the formation of ions in the atmosphere, a layer called the ionosphere. And somehow uh, Tesla had been able to tap into that energy so that he could bring it down and make use of it. But there's a tremendous amount of energy up there if it could just be tapped. There's more than enough energy to run all the electrical power of the world. It's just knowing how to tap it.
Had Tesla's plans had been fully realized, such magnifying transmitter towers would have provided free electricity and wireless internet-type communications across the Earth as early as the 1920s. Instead, the futuristic facility's potential went untapped, and the tower was demolished for salvage in 1917 when Morgan couldn't find a way to put a meter on Tesla's free wireless electricity. The fall of Wardenclyffe and a mysterious fire in his lab that burned most of his scientific papers and experiments caused Tesla to suffer a nervous breakdown and financial ruin. Tesla seemed to know.
All right, guys. So, hearing a lot of information here. Censorship happened back then, right? Between Edison and Tesla, Edison was able to use the media to smash Tesla, right? He proved experiments by electrocuting animals and showing that they could die, right? Ungrounded, everything wrong. It's bad, just bad that he did that. But that's what's going on. This is a pure story. This is a real story. 100 years ago, this stuff has been going on. And we showed a little bit of the information. We realized that this would have gave everyone free energy. Tapping the ionosphere up in the sky, all that radiation, all those bursts of ions, tapping. Think of the Aurealis Borealis, the northern lights. That's just pure energy caught in the ionosphere in the sky. And this energy can be tapped. The ancients knew it, and it goes all the way back. If you think about the pyramids of Egypt, the flat land, the ions underneath the rock because of the water shooting the ions off. And the Egyptian pyramids had a crown of gold at the top that was removed. So realize any different city, and we don't see these ruins. At one time there were ruins, but over the course of a lot of thousands of years, whatever you want to call them, sons of darkness, who knows, a couple of cabal, this has been going on for way too long. And censorship has been happening against electrical medicine, right? There's actually a book called Electrical Medicine. You can Google it. There's ways you can find it. I plan on sending it out and start showcasing it. But that was in the 1800s. They were using electrical medicine. A lot of the stuff was up to date, and it was seriously amazing. And that's an electrician came from the word of the first doctors, believe it or not. All that censored information you may have not heard before, but a real electrician was actually a doctor over 100 years ago. So let's keep this thing rolling.
What energy problems the world would face and prophesied. If we use fuel to get our power, we are living on our capital and exhausting it rapidly. This method is barbarous and wantonly wasteful, and will have to be stopped in the interest of coming generations. On this, humanity must build its hope for the future. With its full development and a perfect system of wireless transmission of the energy to any distance, which is the chief impediment to human progress, will be completely annihilated in thought, word.
Let me stop this.
Which is the chief.
All right. Let's look at this graphic here. It shows, the Isle of Wight when Marconi sent the waves across the Atlantic to New York City. Right. This happened, I think, 1903, between 1903 and 1907. And, Marconi was awarded or acknowledged as the guy that sent, the first guy that sent radio waves across the Atlantic. And realize Nikola Tesla, he should have got credit for it. Another issue, but when Marconi sent these radio waves across the Atlantic, I'm just going to bring in bees like a little honeybee, right? All the bees on the island died, right? They knew in 1907, Spanish flu, every so often, they upped the frequency, right? We're at 5G now. Each time they've upped the frequency. Many people, since many years, right? Telephone, and instead of telephone wires and poles that carry the wires, they've had those poles forever, right? They were able to send frequency down those poles for many years, even during Abraham Lincoln's time. They were able to send SOS messages, and that's how he fought helped win the war, right? So this technology has been censored. Yes, Nikola Tesla is the first guy, but really there was a large bulk of information and real technology during these times. Let's keep moving.
Impediment to human progress will be completely annihilated in thought, word, and action. Humanity will be united. Wars will be made impossible, and peace will reign supreme. But big oil utility companies and governments prefer to profit and collect taxes on non-renewable energy sources and continue to actively thwart efforts that foster inventions that provide free energy. Perhaps in the future, people will finally fully appreciate and fully reap the benefits of the future technology that Tesla developed. Tesla laid the foundation of many future technologies, but several of his contemporaries, his funders, fellow scientists, and the general public couldn't understand or accept his intellectual gifts and suppressed the resources he needed to develop his ideas. Science is but a perversion of itself unless it has its ultimate goal, the betterment of humanity. 100 years after Wardenclyffe, the Earth is now faced with critical energy problems that Tesla's tower could have solved at virtually no cost. Our world continues spending trillions of dollars on non-renewable energy sources. We have polluted our environment irreversibly by burning and spilling fossil fuels, and we have purposely ignored and segregated people on Earth that desperately need energy for running water purification systems and for providing light. Tesla's project may have prevented untold misery, diseases, and wars for billions of people over the past century. On his deathbed, Tesla quietly smiled and predicted, "Let the future tell the truth and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs, the future for which I have really worked is mine." Tesla's groundbreaking ideas and inventions are only now finally gaining more acceptance in scientific circles, and the general public is reaping the benefits of his far-sighted.
All right, guys. So there you have it. Just so much good information right there. Realize free energy. The Wardenclyffe Tower. Sorry, I had it mixed up. It's in New York, not Colorado. This is another machine he was working on. But also realize free energy is coming soon, right? I told you, flip sides of duality. Right now, they're running uh, frequencies that could be considered brainwashing, mind control, all these types of different frequencies. And the best thing you can do at home is raise your frequency and vibration to a level that resonates and shields you from some of these negative consequences from some of these radio waves that have been studied by the deep state forever, right? We just got cell phones, right? One of Nikola Tesla's predictions that most people today would have a small cell phone in their pocket. Look, we've got it, right? That was sci-fi sounding 100 years ago, and today, here we are. We're inseparable from our devices. So just amazing. I'm excited about the free energy because I realize on a different spectrum of frequencies that the current system could be modified to give out this healthy energy, this healthy frequencies, that could help the environment and literally change the course of the world. And that was the betterment of humanity, right? We saw that. And that's what this is all about. That's what I am about. So anything that has to do with the betterment of humanity, I'm running a straight V line, right? Focus. I talked about that. And if we want this future that's staring at us right in the face, a lot of you hear about the RV, the financial system collapse. On the flip side of that, we hear about the collapse of the uh, not only that, but the medical system. Now quickly and slowly, what we've said is that this control has really hung themselves. The way they manipulate and control society, they have done so much, all the way from 9/11 to in even 1960s. It's all a lie. History has been cut and repurposed for indoctrination. So let's keep moving here. Let's just we're gonna watch this hidden interview. I'm gonna break it down all the way through, but it is about 30 minutes long. That should take us about to the very end. But there's just some great stuff. So let's continue and let's hear from it is kind of electric sounding, but this is the 116-year interview that's been hidden. So let's go ahead and listen.
Nikola Tesla is considered one of the most innovative and mysterious men who ever lived on Earth. He was a man way ahead of his time, and is responsible for most of the technology we use today. In fact, if Tesla hadn't invented and researched everything he did in his time, our technology today would be considerably worse. Tesla's inventions went far beyond electricity. He made all kinds of groundbreaking discoveries. Here is one very rare interview, hidden for nearly 116 years. Futurists say that the 20th and 21st century was born in head of Nikola Tesla. They celebrate conversely magnetic field and sing hymns to induction's engine. Their creator was called the hunter, who caught the light in his net from the depths of the earth, and the warrior, who captured fire from heaven. Father of alternating current, will make the physics and chemistry dominate half the world. Industry will proclaim him as their supreme saint, a banker for the largest benefactors. In the laboratory of Nikola Tesla, for the first time, is broken atom. There is created a weapon that causes the earthquake vibrations. There are discovered black cosmic rays. 5 races will pray to him in the temple of the future, because they had taught a great secret, that empedocles of elements can be watered with the life forces from the ethers.
Yes, these are some of my most important discoveries. I'm a defeated man. I have not accomplished the greatest thing I could.
What is it, Mr. Tesla?
I wanted to illuminate the whole Earth. There is enough electricity to become a second sun. Light would appear around the equator, as a ring around Saturn. Mankind is not ready for the great and good. In Colorado Springs, I soaked the earth by electricity. Also, we can water the other energies, such as positive mental energy. They are in the music of Bach, or Mozart, or in the verses of great poets. In the earth's interior, there are energy of joy, peace, and love. Their expressions are a flower that grows from the earth, the food we get out of her, and everything that makes man's homeland. I've spent years looking for the way that this energy could influence people. The beauty and the scent of roses can be used as a medicine, and the sun rays as a food. Life has an infinite number of forms, and the duty of scientists is to find them in every form of matter. 3 things are essential in this. All that I do is a search for them. I know I will not find them, but I will not give up on them.
What are these things, Mr. Tesla?
One issue is food. What a stellar or terrestrial energy to feed the hungry on Earth. With what wine watered all thirsty so that they can cheer in their heart and understand that they are gods. Another thing is to destroy the power of evil and suffering in which man's life passes. They sometimes occur as an epidemic in the depths of space. In this century, the disease had spread from Earth in the universe. The third thing is there an excess light in the universe? I discovered a star that by all the astronomical and mathematical laws could disappear, and that nothing seems to be modified. This star is in this galaxy. Its light can occur in such density that fits into a sphere smaller than an apple, or heavier than our solar system. Religions and philosophies teach that man can become the Christ, Buddha, and Zoroaster. What I'm trying to prove is wilder and almost unattainable. This is what to do in the universe, so every being is born as Christ, Buddha, or Zoroaster. I know that gravity is prone to everything you need to fly, and my intention, not to make flying devices, aircraft or missiles, but teach individual to regain consciousness on his own wings. Further, I am trying to awake the energy contained in the air. There are the main sources of energy. What is considered as empty space is just a manifestation of matter that is not awakened. No empty space on this planet, nor in the universe. In black holes, what astronomers talk about are the most powerful sources of energy and life.
On the wind.
All right, let's cut it right there. Let's cover some of these things, right? I had told you that bees, I'm into saving bees. Realized that the first thing he said was food scarcity and shortage, right? No bees, no humans. It's pretty simple. Nikola Tesla, what he was talking about, not only is free energy for humanity, but a way to feed our people. And this sounds like someone that was a snapshot of someone today, back over 116 years ago. These types of issues have all been changed and altered. And Nicola Story's message, which I hope you're grasping some of this, it's very deep. You can break down any sentence and take it so far back. That's the level of intelligence and in this interview that you can see and feel. That's the beauty of this interview, because this is in his own words, right? He's talking about ether, right? He's talking about air. So this is air per se, right? I'm swimming in the air, right? But the swimming in the air part, realize that there is static electricity all around us. We see lightning bolts branch like trees that look like they're branching out and they're lightning. This is all around us, guys. He's telling us right here. The energy that we emit energy and light. Also, we receive and can be weakened by other frequencies, even other people. So he gets into that. So the last thing Nikola Tesla was working on, and one of the last things Albert Einstein was working on, was what was humanity going to do when bees died, right? How did they know this? How did they know this over so many years ago, right? 60 plus years ago for Albert Einstein, maybe a little bit shorter. But Nikola Tesla, so many years he was working on that, right? So food is so important. We forget about it, but realize because of the health system, right? They use petroleum for fertilizer. Oils, the petroleum system has taken over everything. It's taken over pharmaceuticals. It's also taken control of our farming, right? We are eating nutrients out of oil, like gasoline oil that they put on our crops. So realize food's so important. Saving bees is so very important. And he also talked about something that would appear for most religious people, right? And I'm not knocking religion, but religion and spirituality. A lot of people will say different things about that. They also don't talk about science. religion and science should be one, according to Nikola Tesla. He's also talking about consciousness. Consciousness. We don't even know what this body is. You maybe at home don't even know what you are. Our history has been lost. We don't know how this mechanism really works. Could someone be psychic? Well, that's beyond the five senses. Who taught us the five senses, right? There's so much more to ourselves in this body that we don't recognize and know, right? There's so many ancient books that have been burned. I heard about the Library of Alexandria. That changed the course of the world when the books were taken, right? Who took them? That's been cut off from, from our history, right? The most important library, Library of Alexandria. And I believe, Nikola Tesla went out east to India, found books, lots of books, talks about Vimianas. So they had air machines back then, tied pieces together. And Nikola Tesla actually was friends with a guru, and one of his gurus from India helped him figure out so much in the history of the world. India holds a lot of information. I talked about Zoroaster, Buddha, and Christ. These are just three godlike or gods. And basically, he's breaking down consciousness at a level of understanding what this body really is, right? Nikola Tesla was a human, right? So how did he get all this knowledge? He got it through consciousness. Everything almost is consciousness. Plants are conscious. We are conscious. Animals and bugs and insects are conscious. They know enough about this environment to move around. They know enough about this environment to find their food as soon as they're born. The only species that doesn't is humanity, right? We've been so indoctrinated, so lost, right? You talk about buffalo in America. Buffalo, the actual buffalo that eat grass and roam the plains. And during a certain time when there wasn't a grid and there wasn't countries dividing, right? Cows, animals, they roamed, they migrated, they went up and down, they understood the sun and the moon cycles, also the timing, the seasons. No one taught them in school. No one taught a buffalo in school when to go north when it gets warm and come south when it gets cold, right? So realize insects too, bees, right? Bees are being lost because a lot of times cell towers, it throws off their electromagnetic frequency and they have a hard time getting back. Each one of us has minerals in mica, which is magnetite, in our pineal gland, right in the center of our brain. Now, remember, frequency has a transmitter and a receiver. They use quartz crystal as a uh, sender and quartz crystal as a receiver. So, crystals and all this information and pulling it all together. Realize this machine that we have here at a high vibration does stuff, right? And that's why I'm a big believer. If you want to change the world, heal yourself at such a level that you have no option but to be someone else that you may not be, right? Your true self, living in your mission, your purpose, and your passion. And that's what you have to realize. But turning this body on, right? This is a gift from God. And if you learn about it, which we haven't, right? We just started bringing frequencies back. There's so much that we don't know. We've been in slave control, right? We can't focus just a minute or a month just on our complete selves. We've got bills to pay, and this is the system, the slave owner mentality. Can't miss a day of work, living paycheck to paycheck, all these things. All it does is pull us away from who we really are and to help divide us, right? or keep us busy and occupied so that we don't have a chance to put two and two together. So, one of the things is in spirituality, even in the Bible, they talk about this word called enlightenment. And so that was a word that was removed. Another word removed is reincarnation. So Lilith, the only woman in the Bible, she's removed, right? These are just things I'm just talking about so that you understand all this stuff has been censored at a high level. Consciousness, intelligence, the level of intelligence of a Nikola Tesla. How did he get there? Well, I believe, and this is just my own opinion, that if you speak to the universe, speak to God, ask questions, the answers will flow and come to you. Whether you're a genius or not, it doesn't matter. That's how this works. This is an intention index. This is an intention line. Instead of setting goals, we really should be setting intentions, right? Because intentions, there is no failure, right? Goals are there for a means and purpose to get the job done, right? But in reality, does it matter if you find your mission and purpose in your 20s or in your 70s? Realize that once you find your meaning and purpose, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. Sprinting oftentimes leads us into something we don't want. A marathon, we're able to navigate and move humanity around using what I was saying, focus and connection with one another to push to get stuff like free energy out in the marketplace. So let's keep this thing rolling, guys.
Window of your room in Hotel Waldorf Astoria on the 33rd floor. Every morning, the birds arrive.
A man must be sentimental towards the birds. This is because of their wings. Humans had them once, the real and visible.
You have not stopped flying since those distant days in Smiljan.
I wanted to fly from the roof, and I fell. Children's calculations could be wrong. Remember, the youth wings have everything in life.
Have you ever married? It is not known that you have affection for love or for a woman. Photos from the youth show you were a handsome man.
Yes, I did not. There are two views, a lot affection, or not at all. The center serves to rejuvenate human race. Women for certain people nurtures and strengthens its vitality and spirit. Being single does the same to other people. I chose the second path.
Your admirers are complaining that you are attacking relativity. Your assertion is strange that the matter has no energy. Everything is imbued with energy. Where is it?
First was energy, then matter.
Mr. Tesla, it's like when you said.
So what you'll find, guys, is that his view was based on experience, knowing the inventions, creating the inventions, knowing all the intricate parts of the invention and how it worked, right? Albert Einstein, guys, I don't want to break it to you, but he's a cabal. He's a cabal professor scientist that was looking at patents and reviewing patents. I'm sure he reviewed all of Nikola Tesla's patents, but he came up with a science. So if you went to school here in America and you took physics, astronomy, mathematics, logic, philosophy, you realized the books that they let you read it only pushed their agenda, right? On top of that, Nikola Tesla realized so much more, right? Because he had this experience. So when he says something like he doesn't like the theory of relativity because it's bullshit, guys. It's a lie. It once you follow physics and science to what the school systems teach you, there's just a dead halt. There's a dead halt. You don't get any more information. You didn't realize that there was a DARPA. You didn't realize that there was all these secret technologies out there, you basically stop. And then what does the school system teach you to do? Write essays and papers every day, right? Until the very end. It doesn't matter what the truth is. You're just writing documents that you think are true about astronomy and physics that aren't actually true, right? And one reason is they had a poster child. His name is Albert Einstein. He didn't help us get free energy. He served another situation. And whatever that situation is, literally, it didn't help humanity. So let's just keep moving here.
That you were born by your father and not on you.
Exactly. What about the birth of the universe? Matter is created from the original and eternal energy that we know as light. It shone, and there have been a star, the planets, man, and everything on the earth and in the universe. Matter is an expression of infinite forms of light, because energy is older than it. There are 4 laws of creation. The first is that the source of all the baffling, dark plot that the mind cannot conceive or mathematics measure. In that plot fit the whole universe. The second law is spreading a darkness, which is the true nature of light, from the inexplicable, and it's transformed into the light. The third law is the necessity of the light to become a matter of light. The fourth law is no beginning and no end. 3 previous laws always take place, and the creation is eternal.
In the hostility to the theory of relativity, you go so far that you hold lectures against its creator at your birthday parties.
Remember, it is not curved space, but the human mind, which cannot comprehend infinity and eternity. If relativity has been clearly understood by its creator, he would gain immortality, even yet physically, if he is pleased. I am part of a light, and it is the music. The light fills my 6 senses. I see it, hear, feel, smell, touch, and think. Thinking of it means my 6th sense. Particles of light are written note. A bolt of lightning can be an entire sonata. 1,000 balls of lightning is a concert. For this concert, I have created a ball lightning, which can be heard on the icy peaks of the Himalayas. About Pythagoras and mathematics, a scientist may not, and must not infringe of these 2. Numbers and equations are signs that mark the music of the spheres. If Einstein had heard these sounds, he would not create theories of relativity. These sounds are the messages to the mind that life has meaning, that the universe exists in perfect harmony, and its beauty is the cause and effect of creation. This music is the eternal cycle of stellar heavens.
All right, let's stop it there. So he's calling out the establishment. He's calling out Albert Einstein, right? He's saying that there is no curved space. He's saying it's flat. And when he says it's flat, water level is flat, guys. Mountains still exist and they're not flat. But what he's saying is, even when he talked about the equator, right? The light, it would look much like Saturn, right? But realize what he's talking about is that when he found out how to do the AC current with his Tesla coil, he understood that this is just a big wheel. This is a big wheel creating energy. Yeah, there's a duality. There's a moon and a sun. And he talks about this harmony, this oneness, this balance in the universe, right? Trusting the universe and being a part of the universe as consciousness, that all this is a symphony of harmony when you're on that side of the force. There's 2 sides of the force. He talks about the darkness and the light. Without the darkness, there is no light. But realize he talks about light. So, he is for humanity, right? Really, he's just picked his side right? He was the inventor. He could have done whatever he wanted to do with it. He picked the right side, probably lacked marketing skill to get his product out, and he had to rely on big money. Regardless, his story still exists today. Just an amazing story. Let's keep this thing moving.
The smallest star has completed composition, and also part of the celestial symphony. The man's heartbeats are part of the symphony on the earth. Newton learned that the secret is in geometric arrangement and motion of celestial bodies. He recognized that the supreme law of harmony exists in the universe. The curved space is chaos. Chaos is not music. Einstein is the messenger of the time of sound and fury.
Mr. Tesla, do you hear that music?
I hear it all the time. My spiritual ear is as big as the sky we see above us. My natural ear, I increased by the radar. According to the theory of relativity, two parallel lines will meet in infinity. By that, Einstein's curve will straighten. Once created, the sound lasts forever. For a man, it can vanish, but continues to exist in the silence. That is man's greatest power. No, I have nothing against Mr. Einstein. He is a kind person, and has done many good things, some of which will become part of the music. I will write to him, and try to explain that the ether exists, and that its particles are what keep the universe in harmony, and the life in eternity.
Tell me, please, under what conditions angel adopt on the earth?
I have 10 of them. Keep good records vigilant.
I will document all your words, dear Mr. Tesla.
The first requirement is a high awareness of its mission and work to be done. It must, if only dimly, exist in the early days. Let us not be falsely modest. Oak knows that it is oak tree, a bush beside him, being a bush. When I was 12, I have been sure I will get to Niagara Falls. For most of my discoveries, I knew in my childhood that I will achieve them, although not entirely apparent. The second condition to adapt is determination. All that I might, I finished.
What is the third condition of adjustment, Mr. Tesla?
Guidance for all the vital and spiritual energies in labor. Therefore, purification of the many effects and needs that man has. I therefore have not lost anything, but just gained. So I enjoyed every day and night. Write down, Nikola Tesla was a happy man. The fourth requirement is to adjust the physical assembly with a work.
What do you mean, Mr. Tesla?
First, the maintenance of the assembly. Man's body is a perfect machine. I know my circuit, and what's good for him. Food, what nearly all people eat, to me it is harmful and dangerous. Sometimes, I visualize that chefs in the world are all in conspiracy against me. Touch my hand.
It is cold.
Yes. Bloodstream can be controlled, and many processes, in and around us. Why are you frightened, young man?
It's a story that Mark Twain wrote, A Mysterious Stranger, that wonderful book of Satan, inspired by you.
The word Lucifer is more charming. Mr. Twain likes to joke. As a child, I was healed once by reading his books. When we met here, and told him about, he was so touched that he cried. We became friends, and he often came to my lab. Once he requested to show him a machine that by vibration provokes a feeling of bliss. It was one of those inventions for entertainment, what I sometimes like to do. I warned Mr. Twain as not to remain under these vibrations. He did not listen, and stayed longer. It ended by being like a rocket, holding pants, darted into a certain room. It was a diabolically funny, but I kept the seriousness.
So realize he said Lucifer, and I've got to clear that up because he knows the Satan was a man-made creation. There's a duality of energy, plus and minus. Everything's a duality from darkness to light, right? So what he was saying is it's kind of a joke because it's like people that are talking about it. Yes, there's a Luciferian group of people that just love the dark side. You're right. But there's also an understanding that that was just a made up thing. So realize that. Let's keep moving.
But, to adjust the physical circuit, in addition to food, dream is very important. From a long and exhausting work, which required superhuman effort, after 1 hour of sleep, I'd be fully recovered. I gained the ability to manage sleep, to fall asleep, and wake up, in the time which I have designated. If I do something, what I do not understand, I force myself to think about it in my dream, and thus find a solution. The fifth condition of adjustment is memory. Perhaps in the most people, the brain is keeper of knowledge about the world, and the knowledge gained through the life. My brain is engaged in more important things than remembering. It is picking what is required at a given moment. This is all around us. It should only be consumed. Everything that we once saw, hear, read and learn, accompanies us in the form of light particles. To me, these particles are obedient and faithful. Goethe's Faust, my favorite book, I learned by heart in German as a student, and now it can all recite. I held my inventions for years in my head, and only then I realized them.
You often mention the power of visualization.
I might have to thank to visualization for all that I invented. The events of my life, and my inventions, are real in front of my eyes, visible as each occurrence, or the item. In my youth, I was frightened of not knowing what it is, but later, I learned to use this power as an exceptional talent and gift. I nurtured it, and jealously guarded. I also made corrections, by visualization, on most of my inventions, and finished them that way. By visualization, I mentally solve complex mathematical equations. For that gift I have, I will receive rank High Lama in Tibet. My
Oh wow, that was stellar right there. Just these are just how whether it is the truth. I mean, coming from Nikola Tesla, it's going to be pretty close to the truth, even if it's subjective, right? In his own view, you heard people say my view is on land and it's the right one. Another person might say they're 100 feet underwater and they're saying their view is the right one. So truth is very much like that. But one truth, what appears to be a truth, is that we all have a gift. And I told you, we don't really know this body, but following these things, he's saying visualization, sleeping for 1 hour, controlling our body, right? Figuring out what this is, exploring it to a level of understanding it. So it's just this is just a beautiful statement. I would say, in this world, like I said earlier, ask the question is the key. If you have the question, visually speak it to the universe, it will manifest. And it may not manifest quickly, but your brain's not going to stop working. We know very little about the brain. And so his experiments that he was doing is very much on with himself. He's a very laid back guy. It sounds like he can talk about anyone. Didn't have an ego, it appears, not much of one. And what you keep hearing is that somehow he was able to do this miraculous stuff, find this invention, the passion, the connection, the consciousness is so high. I hope you're getting a lot from this.
eyesight and hearing are perfect, and dare to say, stronger than other people. I hear the thunder of 150 miles away, and I see colors in the sky that others cannot see. This enlargement of vision and hearing I had as a child. Later, I consciously developed.
In youth, you have several times been seriously ill. Is it a disease and a requirement to adapt?
Yes. It is often the result of a lack of exhaustion or vital force, but often the purification of mind and body from the toxins that have accumulated. It is necessary that a man suffers from time to time. The source of most disease is in the spirit. Therefore, the spirit can cure most diseases. As a student, I got sick of cholera, which raged in the region of Lika. I was cured because my father finally allowed me to study technology, which was my life. Illusion for me was not a disease, but the mind's ability to penetrate beyond the 3 dimensions of the earth. I had them all my life, and I have received them, as all other phenomena around us. Once, in childhood, I was walking along the river with Uncle, and said, "From the water will appear the trout. I'll throw a stone, and it is cut." That's what happened. I was in Paris, when I saw my mother's death. In the sky, full of light and music, floated our wonderful creatures. One of them had a mother's character, who was looking at me, with infinite love. As the vision disappeared, I knew that my mother died.
What is the 7th adjustment, Mr. Tesla?
The knowledge of how the mental and vital energy transform into what we want and achieve control over all feelings. Hindus call it Kundalini Yoga. This knowledge can be learned for what they need many years, or is acquired by birth. The most of them I acquired by birth. They are in the closest connection with a sexual energy that is after the most widespread in the universe. The woman is the biggest thief of that energy, and thus the spiritual power. I've always knew that, and was alerted. Of myself, I created what I wanted, a thoughtful and spiritual machine.
On 9th adjustment, Mr. Tesla.
Do everything that any...
And right there, he's not speaking negative of women. He's acknowledging them. And he's acknowledging his own gifts of how that life force energy would be depleted. The power of the feminine is so powerful, he knows about it. And that's the mysterious feminine, the soup that men have a hard time understanding. But, he used his vital energy to stay on track and build these gifts up with that energy. So that's what he's going after. I'm actually going to cut the tape here. I mean, we could come back to this another time, and today's show, maybe we stop it there. Where are we at? We're at 19 minutes in that video. One of these days I'd like to go back with that, and I'd like to post the link to this video. I'm gonna post it in the chat box here, so you guys can watch it, and can show that there. So yeah, just look up the 116-year interview. That's a hidden interview with Nikola Tesla. You can catch all the other important points and study it. Literally, each sentence is so in depth because you have to understand the place where he is, right? I was trying to help a lot of us decipher some of this information, and it's just explosive. This would shock the world if everyone understood just this simple video. He's calling out everyone. There's also another good one called the dynamic theory of gravity. He says gravity is really density. So he already called out the establishment way back when. But we're really close here, guys. We only have 1 minute left. I wanted to thank you guys for joining the show today. Today's show is all about Nikola Tesla. I know there's a lot of fans out there. We can definitely cover this topic many times and some of my other favorite inventors. But today is Friday night. Thank you for joining into Aging Better at Dark, John Baxter Live. And thank you, PPN Network. It's just an amazing family here. We're all here to serve and for the betterment of humanity. So getting this information out on an uncensored network is a dream come true. PPN, thank you guys so much. That's all we have for tonight, guys. Thank you so much and have a wonderful night. Good night.